You wouldn't be totally surprised if it got the chocolate touch, and it's $25.
It's good value. It's not racing too badly, Swivel, and it's got that in-form driver, Jason Robinson, who's shooting for 3 out of 4 at Moonee Valley.
Yeah, he's terrific strike rate.
Just a word come through from Warrnambool, and that is that all horses are okay after those falls in the Grand Annual Steeplechase, so that's terrific news.
Great.
Jamie Evans might have a bit of a shoulder injury, we believe, but we're checking on his condition. But all horses definitely okay, and the majority of the jockeys are okay.
Well, this is a standing start. The next favourite at $2.60 is number 4, Beach Road Whyalla. You can see them starting to get into formation now. No other real moves to tell you about. Laurie's Legacy at $6. Well, that's poor value. You can get a lot better on track.
He seems to race better against the paces. He won 2 starts back at Wangaratta, and it was a pretty impressive win that day, beating the Agitator. I thought he was very disappointing on Monday at Yarra Glen in the Trotters' discretionary there.
He had a nice run, but he didn't show any speed.
No, he didn't show any zip at the finish of his races like he had the previous time.
I just wonder whether the fact of racing against the paces might have taken that little edge off him going into that Trotters race on Monday, but you couldn't back him at $6.10 because he's a lot better on track.
I never know how to rate these Trotters against the paces. I mean, that day that he won at Wangaratta, I thought the Agitator was nearly a good thing in the race. And
the Agitator was hassled in front.
Oh, I realise that.
He got pressured early, and I think it set it up for Laurie's Legacy. They're set. Here's Rick McIntosh.
Stamai, the pole horse, is overs on the tote at $12.80. As they get ready, Oyen Harness racing tomorrow, Cranbourne tomorrow night, and then we've got a double header at Moonee Valley on the weekend. Saturday night here as always, of course, and we're racing back here on Mother's Day Sunday. Now the Strands release, starter caught them beautifully, and they're off and running. And Beach Road Whyalla just took a few strides to hit his gear after the start. Roble Charles first out, looking to head off Swivel and Will. Beach Road Whyalla is 3 wide, going around Laurie's Legacy, and then How Fast Am I off the fence. Deep was Shy Jet, and Gambler after a good getaway gets to 3 back along the inside. The favourites galloping out 3 deep, Beach Road Whyalla. They're followed by VCR in the running line, although we're trying to keep it deep and succeeding at the moment is Starcher Sewer. They've followed 4 or 5 metres back to My Harvest Moon, and to 15 metres off to Classic Brett, who's at the tail of the field. Now down the straight to get 2 laps to go, and it's Roble Charles in front, joined on the outside by Shy Gent. The leader's back is Swivel, and 1 by 1 is the Trotter Laurie's Legacy. 3 back the rails is Gambler. 3 back the running line, How Fast Am I? Beach Road Whyalla can't get a look in. He just cannot get on the track, Wishart, at the moment. He's out 3 deep, and no one's giving an inch going through on his inside as Starcher Sewer. They're followed by My Harvest Moon kicking up. Will keep Beach Road Whyalla even wider. He'll be back to last in a moment. 1 off the fence, Classic Brett. VCR's been out 3 wide since the start, and easing back now is Beach Road Whyalla as they travel down the back, and with all that back brigade wishing to stay 1 off, Beach Road Whyalla having a tough trip now. VCR gets in and goes up on the fence. Lead time from the stand in 1:02.3 as they work up towards the 1200 metre mark on the turn for the bell. The leader is Roble Charles, and its favourite spot by 2 metres to Shy Gent. Swivel the leader's back, races third. 1 by 1 Laurie's Legacy, the square gator getting a beaut run. Gamblers on the inside, and then How Fast Am I hooking out 3 deep. VCR's got right through underneath about 4 of them and is trying to come 1 off and succeeding. They're followed by Beach Road Whyalla, who's been out 3 deep since the start. Around Starcher Sewer. And on the inside, saving ground, My Harvest Moon, and 5 metres to Classic Brett, who's last. First quarter of the last mile in 30.9 as they go to the 800. It's Roble Charles in front. From on the outside, running second. Now whipping around the outside was Laurie's Legacy, and 3 deep was How Fast Am I? Swivels on the leader's back, Shy Gents in the centre. Gambler back on the inside, and VCR coming 3 wide to get onto the back of How Fast Am I? 1 off the fence, My Harvest Moon. They're followed by Starcher Sewer. I don't want to be on Beach Road Whyalla at all. It's been 3 wide for the trip, and it's dropped out to last, passed now by Classic Brett. Second quarter was running 32.1, and the third coming up as they leave the back at the 400. 29.7 it was. It's Roble Charles in front, still leading by a neck and running a great race. The Trotter Laurie's Legacy is closing in. How Fast Am I? 3 deep. No run for Swivel. VCR is out and starting to run on. Starcher Sewer now late. It's Roble Charles first into the straight from Laurie's Legacy. Starcher Sewer running on strongly. Swivel trying to get out. It's Roble Charles in front. Starcher Sewer after it. Classic Brett at stablemate down the outside, but Starcher Sewer hit the front over the concluding stages, and Starcher Sewer wins it. Second, Swivel. I think just in advance of maybe Classic Brett has just tipped Roble Charles out of the place. It is a photo, though, from Gambler Shy Gent, then Laurie's Legacy. Beach Road Whaler never went comfortably, couldn't get into it, and to its credit, beat a few home. They were How Fast Am I, My Harvest Moon, and last of all was VCR, the final quarter in 30.6.
Number 10, Star Chasseur, the winner there, and it's very tight for second and third, and I think Swivel over near the inside has probably just held on. Well, it's certainly got second, but pretty close for third. Classic Brett is one of the ones in the photo there. And
Roble Charles on the inside, who got slaughtered in the lead. If it was able to get a slow run in front, it would have won. I think probably it was the best run in the race, but it might not have even run a place.
I want to look at the replay here. I don't think I've ever seen a smaller pacer than Swivel. It's a little flea. Look at the size of it. It's in behind the leader. It gets a run. Oh no, it hasn't had much luck at all. Here's Star Chasseur down the outside, chimes in quickly. It's got the race one here, Star Chasseur, but you're right, Hutch, had been softened up. And look at Swivel. It's about half the size of the horse in front of it.
dead heat for third, by the way,
Dead heat for third.
between Roble Charles and Classic Brett.
Okay,
So
3
there you
and
have them.
12.
Danny DeVito makes plenty of money. You seen the size of Danny DeVito? I was watching Saturday Night Live the other night, an old thing on, might have been your opposition actually, Peter, but he's about half the size of everyone else.
Yeah, I know. It's quite
Any danger of
incredible.
talking about this race?
Race is over.
Oh, well, let's not bother then. 10, 2 and a dead heat between 3 and 12, and there you see the photo finish. Oh dear. Star Chasseur, $7.20 for the win, expect. And there are the placings, 10, 2 and a dead heat between 3 and 12. You're pointing your finger at
Been
me.
a good drive by Marty Noonan, because last I saw of that Star Chasseur, it was buried. I think it was 1 out 3 back with horses all around it. So to get it home from that position, he's done a pretty good job, Marty. And here's a junior drive with a bit of a future, I think.
Beach Road Whaler.
Well, that's the old Beach Road Whaler, the one we knew that couldn't get round turns, etc. So at this stage, Andrew Gath hasn't improved it.
Yeah, he improved it for a run or so, but he was off the boil
No,
today.
well,
the
actually,
horse.
we wasn't down as trainer last start. So.
Oh, wasn't he?
No.
Here's the replay now. Star Chasseur coming quickly on the outside. And look at the size of this horse that Adam was talking about. Swivel looks like a greyhound in a...
You feel sorry
car.
for it.
It is tiny.
Actually, it looks... I don't know whether anyone saw the picture in the Herald Sun yesterday, but they had these llamas linked up to this sulky thing. It looks about the size of a llama.
I feel sorry for Roble Charles. I mean, a couple of blokes just wanted to make sure it didn't win.
Numbers 10, 2 and a dead heat between 3 and 12. We're around about 4 minutes away from the next at Warrnambool. There are the dividends, 7.22.10, Swivel 4.70, dead heat for third, Roble Charles 2.20, Classic Brett $1.30, Quinella paid $75.20, the running double $548.80.
It's about the pool.
And we'll have 2 trifectas on 10, 2 and 3 and 10, 2 and 12. We'll bring you those in a moment. But let's go to John Bell prior to the running of race 7 at Warrnambool.
Yeah, thanks very much, Pete. The favourite here is New Sea and has been supported, opened up $3. It's come in a quarter point, so a good support for the local here, New Sea, trained by Jocka Bailey on the track. Number 1, Brio's right in contention, also in the market. Just hit the each way quote, trained by Colin Alderson. His son, Stephen, is with me. Steve, first of all, the jockey Sarah Morris, not known to many people here.
No, Sarah's actually from New Zealand and hasn't had a lot of rides over in Australia. She's ridden about 3 winners from 50-odd rides, and she rides quite good. You know, she's just a young girl learning how to ride at this stage. Claims 3 and get into the race quite nice with 54.
And was she with Alan Jones over in New Zealand?
Yeah, she was originally with Alan Jones, and she's had a few rides in Queensland with him, and now she's transferring, or she's on loan to us at the moment.
Okay, well, what about Brio today? Second up from a spell, first up went pretty good.
Yeah, it was a nice run first up. I think he needed the run that day. He'll probably improve again with another run today. He'd been off the scene for nearly 9 months, and hopefully today he gets through the ground all right, and I think he should give back as a good sight.
Okay, Stephen, on Saturday have you got Ancient City and our Unicorn in the SA Derby?
Yeah, that's correct. Probably hard to split those two horses. They haven't met before, and they're both 2 good 3-year-olds on the way up.
Ancient City's a better horse.
Well, I'm not going to say at this stage.
Well, he was impressive winning the other day, wasn't he? He had that race won from about the 1,000.
Yeah, it was a good win considering the weight he had to carry, and he's getting better with racing, but I wouldn't underestimate the other horse either.
Yeah. Okay, Steve, well, best of luck today. And are you off to Adelaide, or Dad's running the show over there?
Dad will be running the show over there. I might have Saturday off, actually.
Good on you, mate. Best of luck. Steve Alderson there, representing the Alderson stable, who have Brio in this race. Now we'll have a run through the market here, just as the runners are behind the gate. Number 1, Brio, has drifted a full point out to the each-way quote, so you're about 1.5 points under the odds on the tote at this stage. Number 3, Connie's Kid, Drifted in the market originally, opened up at $4.50, got out to $6. That's been snapped up now, and this horse can pull out a race a run fresh. Is some query in the ground, but the betting suggests that the stable must think he will handle it. New C, as I said, has been $3 into $2.75, very well supported. Has had one start on wet ground and won very easily at his debut here at Warrnambool, so does go up the track and in the conditions. Number 6, Norley Park, has been a drifter and has got out to 2 times the each way quote, so you're a bit of value on the tote. However, number 7, Champy's out to double figure odds with the bookmakers, which is a drift of 3 points. Royal Bow has drifted 2 points out to 3 times the each way quote, so you're still shopping quite well on the tote. The next 3 horses are all out in the market, and number 13, Moles Gap, who is adept in these conditions, opened up at 2 times the each way quote, has drifted 1 point, so you're about spot on there. Now, we've had a swing around here in the last call through from the ring. New C has had a drift of a half a point out to $3.25, and Connie's Kid, the money has continued for this horse. It's firmed in another half point, so it's been $6 into $5. So the money is with Connie's Kid at this stage. New C beginning to ease after initially being well supported. They're beginning to move up. I've tipped New C on top because he does handle the conditions and the track to defeat Brio, and number 6, Norley Park, might be worth a showing at reasonable odds.
John Bell's preview of race 7. They're moving into the gates for the Taranaki Jockey Club Class 2. 20 minutes after 3 the starting time. We're right on that now, and we've got 2 to go after that at Warrnambool. The Yalumba handicap at 3.55, and the Schweppes Class 4 will wind up the card. What has been a long week for the people at Warrnambool. They're getting set now. Just checking on the previous event at Warrnambool. It was the Warrnambool Cup this afternoon, and victory went to Azagain at number 11, defeating 7 Oregon Star and 5 Crystalero. 10-10, $3.50, $2.30 and $3.40 were the win and place dividends on 11, 7 and 5. And a little earlier, it was the Sundance Kid in the Grand Annual Steeplechase, and what a spectacular race it was. $4 and $1.80, off again $6.60, and Zacapet paid $10.80. Repeating the news that there were quite a few fallers in that race. All of the horses okay, and we're checking on the condition of the jockeys. They're set to go. Race 7 at Warrnambool. Here's Brian.
Begins to wind down. Set, all clear there. Racing. They've gone away in a perfect line. Norley Park, one of the first out. Straight out the back is Champy. Away well Brio and also Lava Bed. New Sea tracking up on the inside from Connie's Kid and then Daddy Rich. Dr. Davo drifting back with Moles Gap, and last of all is Champy. Inside the 1100, and Brio over on the outside takes a narrow lead here, but holding the inside is New Sea as they go into this driving rain now. 2.5 back to third is Royal Bow. Another couple into Connie's Kid with Norley Park, Daddy Rich. A length to Lava Bed, Moles Gap, second last Champy, and last of all is Dr. Davo. 7.50 out off the back, and Brio and New Sea matching strides out by 4 to Royal Bow. 3 away Connie's Kid and Daddy Rich, then Norley Park giving ground, passed by Champy. Moles Gap further back, Lava Bed and Dr. Davo. 5.50 to travel before the corner, and New Sea just gets away a little bit here from Brio. They're 4 in front of Royal Bow, Daddy Rich, Connie's Kid struggling, Champy running on, and so too is Moles Gap along the inside, 400 metres out, and the leader New Sea around the turn by a length and a half to Brio. Third placing Royal Bow on the outside, Daddy Rich. Back to the inside is Moles Gap, and then comes Champy, but running down to the 200 metre mark, and New Sea clear, well clear of Brio. On the outside, Daddy Rich, then Moles Gap, but New Sea, another favourite home here, is careering right away in the last 50 metres, and New Sea opens up and will win by a good 6 or 8 lengths. 8 lengths make it. Brio second, third Daddy Rich, fourth placing Moles Gap, then Royal Bow. Next in Dr. Davo, followed by Connie's Kid, Norley Park Champy, and last in was Lava Bed.
Placings there 4, 1 and 10, and the favourite has strolled in. New C number 4, ridden by Nifty Wilson, as we said, and it's won very convincingly. Was slightly easy on the course at the end of betting, but here they come around the turn in blinding rain, and conditions are going to be pretty bleak by the end of the day here at Warrnambool. But look at this. Well, we've seen Nifty on a few, just railing. I saw him on one yesterday, and it won quite convincingly. Baron Verdi, I think it was, and this horse New Sea has dashed right away and was a good 5 or 6 lengths in front. Brio in second placing, Daddy Rich has got into third, and if you back the winner, you can expect around about $3 on Super Tab. Placings are official. 4, 1 and 10, New Sea the winner. Brio, ridden by Ms S. Morris, claiming the 3 kilos in second placing, and third, number 10, Daddy Rich, which was ridden by Samuel Highland, who got an early 21st birthday present when he rode the Warrnambool Cup winner Azagain about 3/4 of an hour ago. Standing by for the dividends to come up. Next at Warrnambool, race 8, 3:55. And just repeating, there is a late scratching in race 8, number 10, Scrupulous Fighter. So there are plenty out of race 8, numbers 1, 2, 4, 6, 10, 14, 15 and 16. And there are the early totes with number 5, Fates Horizon, coming up, the early tote favourite. Just repeating those scratchings, 1, 2, 4, 6, 10, 14, 15 and 16. So we've got a field of 11 to run, and the rider for number 19, Kilferra Road, is G. Murphy, if you're missing a rider there in your Herald Sun form guide this morning.
We'll be in the betting too, I think, Kilferra Road, so it's an important one to check on there.
And it's pretty damp there today. It's getting wetter as the day goes on, but fortunately the conditions for the two major races, the Grand Annual and also the CUB Warrnambool Cup, were pretty good earlier in the day.
Pete, I think we've got some totes to tidy up from that Moonee Valley race where we had the dead heats.
Yes,
the dead heat for third.
trifectas we needed.
That's right, there we go. Now, this will be on the numbers 10, 2 and 3. We'll return $892.90. And on 10, 2 and 12, $505.40. So just to tidy up those divvies, there was a bit of a delay with the dead heat for third.
Okay, and we'll bring you the official dividends and the starting prices from Warrnambool very shortly as the winner comes back now. And just waiting on those dividends to become official on 4, 1 and 10. As we said, it is starting to get quite bleak, but a lot of the punters would have adjourned to the bar at this stage. I know from experience that generally after the Grand Annual and the Warrnambool Cup have been decided, some people decide that after 3 days of the carnival that they've had enough as far as the punting is concerned, and they put their cue in the rack and head to the bar or head to one of the many pubs around that area. New C, $3 and $1.50, $1.60 for Brio. Daddy Rich paid $9.40. Quinella, $4.40. Exacta, $9.60. Running double on As Again and New C, 11 and 4, $27.30. And the trifecta dividend will be up momentarily. $3, $1.50, $1.60, $9.40. Quinella, $4.40. Exacta, $9.60. Race to race double, $27.30, and the trifecta, $223.30. The winner New C started approximately 9 to 4, open 2s into 7 to 4, out to 9 to 4 at the end. Let's go to John Bell after the running of race 7.
Yeah, thanks very much, Pete. I've got Jocker Bailey with me, who trains New C. His Jocker, a Warrnambool Carnival wouldn't go by without you training a winner, surely.
Well, I hope not. I try hard. You know, I've been bred and reared in Warrnambool and always been involved with Warrnambool May Carnival for as long as I can remember, so it's beaut to win a race here.
The first time I came to Warrnambool, someone tugged my coat and they said, just make sure you back Jocker Bailey because he never misses over the carnival. I've been 5 years in a row and I don't think you have missed.
No, I think I've only missed once in about 16 years not training a winner, so the record's been pretty good. But now there's getting a lot of pressure on you, wonder whether you're always going to have that horse that can win. But anyway, that fella made it nice and easy.
Yeah, well, it was a very impressive win. He seems to love the conditions.
Yeah, he really likes the conditions, and strangely enough, I've had 3 full brothers that have won that particular race in the past in May, and 2 of them could handle the wet and 1 couldn't. So, but we struck a dry year with him. It was the horse I'm a Leg Man, and New Fan was the other horse. So,
yeah. Well, what about Billingsford in the Cup today? Won it 2 years ago, not to be today?
Yeah, no, he just couldn't handle the going. He travelled nice, but when a bit of pressure was applied, he just couldn't handle it. No.
All right, Jocker, well, congratulations. Good to see you. That's your second winner for the carnival. Another successful year for you.
Thanks very much.
Jocker Bailey there, the trainer of New C, who, well, he was 2s into 7 to 4 before he drifted out to 9 to 4. And, well, support came in for Connie's Kid, who was 5s into 4s, but he ended up drifting out to 9 to 2. So 9 to 4 favourite, New C, and only a few moments of what concern there when they were turning for home. But once in the straight, scored very easily. Brio second at 4 to 1, and Daddy Rich third at 33 to 1. So we've only got 2 to go. Hopefully we can find you 2 winners, and I think we will, because the dogs have been barking these 2 horses for the last 2 races. Fates Horizon in the next race, who's probably going to come up fairly short, and Regal Company Well, I'd be very surprised if this didn't come up in the red. The support for this horse is so big at this stage, and someone said to me it was the bet of the century earlier in the day, so hopefully we might be able to do some business with that.
Well, generally they get beaten when they put those sort of wraps on them, but John, quite confident that we might be able to find the last two winners there at Warrnambool. 2 races to go there, 3 to go here at Moonee Valley. Our next event for telecast is in fact we've got 4 to go here at Moonee Valley, and the next event for telecast is from the Valley Race 6, and that is the Trotters race at 3:45. There are the tote figures. Radical Charm, number 4, is the favourite. Chances given to number 1, Iona Wiz, and also number 5, Draft Choice, along with 9, About Square. Adam Hamilton and Bill Hutchison will look at the race in a bit more depth. But first of all, we're going to take a break. You're watching Channel 31's coverage of Grand Annual Steeplechase Day there at the Bull and harness racing here at Moonee Valley.
Just Rock is the largest rock and roll club in Melbourne.
Join Edie each Saturday at 3:30 for 50s rock and roll in the 90s.
With me, I have a couple of band members of the Starliners.
A look at the era, its fashion, music, dance and fine cars.
About 3 years before we decided to rebuild it.
50s rock and roll in the 90s with Edie, Saturdays at 3:30 here on Channel 31.
A lot of work has been done to develop it as a fantastic facility for aged care.
Hashavua presents issues relevant to the Jewish community of Melbourne.
The United Jewish Education Board.
Culture, religion, youth and current issues make Hashavua a diverse and interesting program.
They learn to read and write Hebrew.
I've just been in Israel the past year and doing this...
Hashavua, Thursdays at 7:30 here on Channel 31.
Coming up tonight on Northern Community News, Northwest's unemployment underestimated, a bank closure opposed, CityLink project under fire, controversy over the new Metcard ticketing system and the City of Whittlesea's 4th logo. In sport, the Calder Cannons defeat the Western Jets and Keilor Thunder scores its 2nd win. All that plus the community bulletins here on Northern Community News, 8:15 p.m. tonight on Channel 31.
From the Channel 31 Community Notice Board, GROW provides support groups for people suffering from depression, stress, grief, emotional problems, anxiety or relationship breakdown. For further information, phone 9890 9846. Community notices are read during programming periods and community billboards are screened during non-programming periods. Phone Channel 31 during business hours for your community billboard or free community notice on 9663 5831.
And we're back with you here at Moonee Valley prior to the running of race number 6, and that is the Master Plumbers Association Trotters Handicap. And the pole marker here is Iona Wiz, trained by David Manning, and it's right in contention at $4, just behind the favourite Radical Charm. And here is David with Hutchie out the back.
Yeah, no stranger to the media, David. Actually, still employed by Sport 927 in a dwindling capacity.
Yes, casual, and I'll take it while I get it.
The training role, I suppose, is probably a little bit more hectic these days, though, David.
Yes, not a lot of horses in work, 6 or 7, but you just keep trying to get better horses all the time, and I think this bloke's all right, and Jolter's Gold's going okay, and you just got to try and turn them over, I suppose.
You've done that. I mean, you've had a terrific strike rate with New Zealand horses, and you haven't all kept them all until they've been sort of dead and buried. You've placed them elsewhere after they've won their good races for you. Drastic Action's a case in point. He's in later in the day with a little chance, you know.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think, you know, you have to turn them over. Once they get near their mark, it's harder to win, and owners start thinking, well, you know, you've got to try and do the right thing by them, turn the horse over. Hopefully they get another horse with you. Sometimes they don't.
They're going to think twice about paying the training fees on time if they're not getting it in the back.
That's right. That's right.
Now, today, tell us about Iona Wiz. He's done a pretty good job since he's been here.
He's a nice horse. I liked him in New Zealand. We bought him before he raced.
He won a race in New Zealand with him.
Yeah. We bought him when he trialled. The same people that had Chic and Wiz owned him, and we had an option on him from the start, and we exercised the option. He won at Winton, and then he ran 4th at Omakau, sat in the death. They nearly broke a track record. And he's run
breaking a track record at Omakau.
Yeah, well, Omakau, they've some good horses. Yeah, it's sort of like a Warrnambool thing. They only race once or twice a year there, and it's a big meeting. And he's
Little bit like a little brown jug.
Yeah, but not as much money. But he meets Radical Charm a lot better from the last time they met. Now, Radical Charm's a nice horse, and I think John thinks he's as good as Roaring Boss.
Well, apparently trialled very well on Sunday at Ballarat too. Ran his last mile in a tick over 2 minutes. But you are meeting this horse 20 metres better on the last time you met.
Yeah, I met him 20 metres better. I probably won't have to sit in the death. I'd say I'll either lead or be behind the leader. I suppose it all depends how what sort of kamikaze tactics John adopts. You know, like he can attack, and I mean, what do you do? Gavin just has to beat the. Gavin just has to make up his mind. Do you run with John and run second last and last, or do you let him go? So I just leave that to Gavin.
You reckon John might win a few races through bluff?
Probably does. No, it's not bad thinking. There's been plenty of blokes over the years that have been good
did
at
it in the old days.
Yeah, that's right. Don was real good at it. Yeah, but that happens, and probably you see him coming, you think, oh, what do I do here? Do I hold him or let him go? But Gavs just has to make that decision.
Exactly right. Well, he's just the man for it.
Well, look, great driver, but I think
not a bad second-string driver.
Yeah, he's had about 15 drives for me. Never drove a winner. So,
is that right?
Yeah. So I hope it
David
changes.
Miles would be happy about that anyway, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he's very happy. Yeah.
All right, David. Well, and Jolter's Gold, she's going well.
He's going real good. He's in Saturday night, off 10, short trip, makes it a bit hard, but with the right brakes and the right run, he can run to the money again.
What did you know about trotters? I mean, you now...
Nothing.
Yeah, well...
But you learn fast.
Yeah?
You learn fast, and I had Chicken Whiz. I got a bit spoiled because he's such a good trotter, doesn't make any mistakes. Jolter's Gold, as you know, tested me out a bit early. Yeah. I got a lot of help from Donnie Smith, and you know, he's helped me a bit with this horse and also Jolter's Gold, and you learn all the time. You have to keep asking questions, you get answers.
All right, mate, we're going to get mown down here, so we better get out of the way. Let's hope things pan out right for you.
Yeah, I hope so.
Right, David. Thanks, boys.
Righto, Hutch, thanks very much, and good luck to David Manning there, an old confrere of mine. We started out sort of in the race calling ranks at around about the same time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
he's sort of gone in different paths. He makes a good fist of it, the training, and you can always bank on the fact when he produces them, they're... well, you can certainly have something on them regardless of what odds are, because they'll be well presented and run you a pretty good race.
And there goes Iona Wiz right there.
Yeah.
There he is, heading out.
Very distinctive colours. You can always spot them, the red, the white diamonds and blue. Red and blue halves, I suppose you'd call it, with white diamonds. Just going past us, you'll see that horse go out the back of us. That's the favourite, Radical Charm, in the green and red colours going past. We might be able to do a mounting yard report as they go past.
Yeah, it's sort of all done with mirrors here, isn't
There's
it?
the Conroy horse you saw with the yellow and black. Gare du Nord, it's probably got a hope. John Justice just going past there on Maximise, catching up with a few people we don't get to see in the studio here.
Okay, well, while you're doing your social notes there, let's have a look at our competition again. If you haven't seen our competition earlier in the day, the number to ring is 0055 60154. Which horse was the last one to win successive Warrnambool Cups? Was it Spotted, was it Puramaka, or was it Malvern Bell? If you think you know the answer, 0055 60154. We'll have the lines open until 4:10, so you've got round about half an hour. You can enter as many times as you like. And today's prize is a dining package for two with the compliments of the Moonee Valley Racing Club and also a copy of the Essential Guide to the Victorian Thoroughbred Industry, brought to you by Racing Victoria. 0055 60154. Okay, we might take a break now from the Valley. Very shortly we'll update you on the figures for the second last at Warrnambool and also drawing ever closer to a start in the next tier, race 6 at Moonee Valley. We'll be back with you soon.
You've probably had opportunity to ask yourselves the question, if you've stopped to do so.
Living Word explores Scripture and its relevance to today's world.
God's Word and share it with you week by week is because this Word is a living Word.
Issues of faith, morality and respect from a Christian perspective.
No matter how strange it seems to us, no matter how much it might sort of shock us, that this is God's way of doing things. Wicked, we think of meaning evil. Wicked also...
The Living Word with Chris Field, Tuesdays at 6, here on Channel 31. And you'll love Saturday night's harness racing at Moonee Valley. The title of Australia's leading race mare will be up for grabs when the country's best mares, She's a Dancer and Missing Charm from Victoria, and Diamond in the Rough Star Mare from New South Wales clash in the Ladyship Cup. Plus AFL legends Tuck, Nichols, Hafey, Madden and Quinlan will be kicking footies into the crowd. If you can't be there, catch all the action live from around Australia on Channel 31. The Programming Department of Channel 31 is looking for previewers. Previewers give programs a classification and check for technical, copyright and defamation problems. Applicants should be broad-minded, interested in different cultures and current affairs, and have a high level of comprehension of written and spoken English, including Australian slang. Full training is provided. If you're interested, contact Rosemary during business hours on 9663 5831.
Runners are on the track for race 6 here at Moonee Valley, the Plumbers Association Trotters Handicap, and number 3, She's a Cop, is the scratching. So we're not too far away from the start, so we can weigh up the comparison between the 10-minute mark and the 6-minute mark, but we'll get a better idea as we get closer to race time. Billy Hutchison has joined us in the studio.
It looks a race in two, Peter, really. One Iona Wiz, 4 Radical Charm. I made Iona Wiz the best bet of the day initially, weakening a little because Radical Charm did run a terrific trial at Ballarat on Sunday and actually got beaten in the race by a horse called Ring of Sunshine, which came out and ran a terrific race to win at Terang last night. I'm told Radical Charm ran its last mile in 2 minutes, .1, its last half in 60.4. So if it does that, gee, it's going to be hard to beat. The one thing in Iona Wiz's favour, and I mentioned it when I was talking to David Manning out there, is it gets 20 metres, it's 20 metre turnaround in the handicaps this time. Iona Wiz had to give Radical Charm 20 metre start last time, and there wasn't that much between them, with Iona Wiz sitting outside the lead. John Crofts is an aggressive driver, and as David said, it'll be interesting to see whether Gavin decides to retain the lead or hand up. Either way, Iona Wiz is very competitive. Well, it would want to be seen its best bet of the day.
This, you say it's a match in two, and it probably is, but gee, there's some up-and-coming trotters racing well here. I mean,
one of the better races you'd find in this class, Adam.
Well, I think when we were covering the last of the night meetings here, we saw a thing called Gare du Nordwin, and it was just awesome. And it's going to go around here at $18 on the tote. Draft Choice is going well. In fact, it was in the saddle trot here on last Saturday night. Might have won the saddle trot.
No, it got beaten by a maiden. I'm trying to think what the maiden was. Iona something. I like the one that actually it's going all right.
What have been these?
No, it's not this one.
No?
Not this one, no.
I'll find out for you.
No.
You go through the runners and I'll find out.
Okay, the other chances, you mentioned 5 Draft Choice. Now, it's only had one run from a spell. It led all the way at Geelong in much weaker company than it meets today, but it has got T. Demler on board. You found the name of it?
Iona Wiz, it is this. Won the saddle trot, number 1. Iona Wiz, David Manning trained, beat Draft Choice.
That's how it started in the run home. Well, there you go. I thought it was Iona DJ. It's Iona Wiz now, it explains why it went so well. Gare du Nord you've just spoken about. He's very scratchy early in his races, Gare du Nord, and it's only strong 23.80 at the... he'll be there at the finish, but how far away he is at the finish is another thing. I really don't think he can win the race today. 8 Eric Booth is honest. Doesn't seem to finish his races off. I think when they look him in the eye, he's sort of found wanting with Eric Booth, but...
Russell Thompson thinks he'll make a nice horse in time.
Needs a heart transplant, I think. 9 About Square is well, it's the one we had a bet about it a couple of weeks ago. I think we bet one against the other, and About Square actually should have won that race. That was here behind Waikari Gold, and I think it should have won last start behind Castle Van and Thunder Thighs. It had no luck, and it's racing very well. About Square, I think it's got a terrific each way chance.
Maximiser's got a super hope here.
Oh, Maximiser, very good trotter, Maximise. Its biggest problem, Adam, this is 23.80, which is as short as these trotters races get here. And it probably needs a bit of journey because it hasn't got a lot of early speed and it has to do it tough. But if anything goes its way, it's right in the race. I would rate it with the other two, Iona Wiz and Radical Charm on ability, just that it might be a little bit further back than those two. And the bottom one, which doesn't appear on your screen, is number 13, Indiana Lee. I don't think it's hopeless in the race either. With a bit of luck, it was a good effort last start, went 3 wide behind Castle Van. But you can't pick them all, and the way I've seen it is 1 a special to beat 4 and 10.
Well, there's a lot of people backing up your selection there, Iona Wiz. The money on track is now for the toppy. It's firmed in 1/4 point from its opening quote. In contrast, number 4, Radical Charm, has eased out 1/4 point. So nothing between these two in betting now. $2.90 Iona Wiz, $2.80 Radical Charm, $8.30 is huge value for number 10, Maximise. You've heard Hutchie's summation of the race. Draft Choice is about $6 better on the tote at $13, only about $8 or, around about $8 with the bookies. Eric Booth is a little bit of value. About Square is a touch of value. Yeah, look, there's a lot of value outside of these two favourites.
Just before they come up here at Moonee Valley, Adam, we might take the opportunity of updating you with the next event at Warrnambool Race 8, due at 3:55, so it's around about 11 minutes away from now. Plenty of scratchings in Race 8 at the Bull, and we saw that Fates Horizon, that was the one that John Bellas put the big rap on, and it's round about 2-1 on the tote, $3 and $1.10. Freeman, number 3, won in Mark Bairstow's stable, and number 7, Nailem, also in the betting. Not far away, Suit the Office and Formal Offer. Ferdinand's Big Odds, Knightly Sword, number 12, is at $14.50. And let's have a look at the others there. Well, they're all at pretty good odds. Down the bottom, Kilferra Road to be ridden by Gary Murphy is a bit of a hope. But the favourite is number 5, and that is Fates Horizon.
I wonder if we've got time to rush through these quaddies.
Yeah.
Hutchie, you monitor the start there at the Valley. Warrnambool quaddie approximate, scratch numbers 1 and 2. Number 3, 677. Scratch 4. Number 5, 418. Scratch 6. 7 is 859. Number 8 is upwards of 2,700. Number 9, upwards of 1,800. Scratch 10. Number 11, upwards of 4,800. Number 12 is upwards of 2,100. Number 13, upwards of 4,500. They're just about set at the Valley. To be alive in the Warrnambool quaddie, forget it, because they're off at the Valley.
Iona Wiz trotted away pretty well here for Lang. It's going through on the inside of Lady Georgia to lead. Working up on the outside, Draft Choice trying to get in closer to third, and then Gare du Nord followed by Radical Charm. 15 metres off to Eric Booth, and then Rayleigh Flash followed by About Square, and the inside Folkestone. 4 metres to Indiana Lee, 5 metres to Maximise, and Orchid City Lad settles at the tail of the field. Iona Wiz. There was nothing between Iona Wiz and Radical Charm in the betting, but it's Iona Wiz on the inside, the leader. From on the outside, the roughie, Lady Georgia, and third on the leader's back, Draft Choice. Radical Charm was 1-1, but not for long. He's going around to have a crack at this leader. Radical Charm works up on the outside to tackle Iona Wiz, who's shown the whip, and the two favourites quicken up the tempo and go together. Draft Choice third on the inside of Lady Georgia now. They're followed 5 metres to Gare du Nord, and Radical Charm will press on and get the front here. Radical Charm goes clear by 5 metres, Iona Wiz now. 5 metres, Draft Choice third, and fourth is Lady Georgia. Gare du Nord trotting fifth, and then 8 metres to Eric Booth. The inside, Folkestone followed 6 metres away to Rayleigh Flash. Indiana Lee's on the inside of it from About Square, and I was about to say they're all trotting perfectly, but going for a gallop, Orchid City Lad. And I tell you what, Maximise has made a mistake too, getting by Orchid City Lad now, but has put itself out of the event. Lead time in 63 seconds as they work off the back. Inside the lap and a half, and it's Radical Charm out by 4 metres. Second placing Iona Wiz, and third without cover making the move was Eric Booth. 3 back along the inner, Draft Choice, and 1-1 now Gare du Nord. 3 back in the running line was Lady Georgia, saving ground on the inside, Indiana Lee. Then Folkestone. Rayleigh flashes out deep around About Square. 25 metres to Maximise, and 25 to Orchid City Lad last. First quarter of the last mile was 32.3, and they're getting the bell now. 900 metres to go for the Square Gators, and Radical Charmers trying to keep its unbeaten Aussie record intact. Leads by 3 metres to Eric Booth, who's normally a pretty tough customer. Third, the inside, Iona Wiz, and getting the run of the race, Gare du Nord. Draft Choice is on the inside, and then Lady Georgia around Indiana Lee. Well back in the field was Folkestone. Maximise going up on the inside from Rayleigh Flash, About Square, and tacking on Orchid City Lad. Second quarter in 33.3. And Radical Charm has had a good run since finding the front. Leads at the 500, 3 metres to Eric Booth. Third, the inside, Iona Wiz, sweating on away clear now. Gare du Nord is fourth, and 3 wide around Lady Georgia. The inside, Draft Choice. They're followed 6 metres to Indiana Lee, Folkestone. Maximise trying to thread its way through the field, and then About Square. 30.9 the third quarter, they're homeward bound. Whips coming out now. Radical Charm held together from Eric Booth. No run, Iona Wiz, and then Gare du Nord. But Radical Radical Charm leads in the home straight by 2 metres. Eric Booth is trying very hard to run it down. Then Iona Wiz, it's Radical Charm in front. Eric Booth trying very hard from Iona Wiz, but Radical Charm will win it. 3 out of 3 in Australia for Radical Charm. Wins at 3.5 metres to Eric Booth. Iona Wiz third, and then Draft Choice from Gare du Nord. Indiana Lee was next. Maximise will give the judges something to clock. Geez, it made up some ground from Folkestone, and further back in the race then to About Square. Next in the field was Orchid City Lad with Rayleigh Flash, and last in Lady Georgia. The final quarter in 30.3.
Okay, 4, 8 and 1 will be the numbers, and there was a little bit of a battle for the lead at the soon after the start, but you picked it. John Cross was aggressive. I wouldn't dispute what Gavin Lang did, because if he didn't hand up Gavin, John Cross would have gone very hard.
You reckon he's entitled to take a little bit more out of the leader? Not that it would have mattered.
Possibly. I think he was a little bit unlucky. I want to have a look at the final stages here. Radical Charm wins and appears to win with plenty in reserve.
I think once it got to the front, that was it.
Iona Wiz never really saw daylight. Eric Booth battled on fairly. Gare du Nord, probably not suited by the way the race turned into a sprint home. I'm just wondering what they ran that last quarter in. And there you could see, as he was put under pressure, Gare du Nord, he galloped. He never looked like galloping last start, but galloped over about the last 100 metres there. The last quarter in 30.3, that makes him only run home in 61.2. Well, on that trial, you told us at Ballarat, I know they go quicker at Ballarat than they would at Moonee Valley, but you've got to say that on those times, and you did say in the run, he's unbeatable once he got that 65.
Yeah, I would have liked, I think aggression was the go there. I think I would have liked to have seen Gavin show a bit more aggression than he did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, 4, 8 and 1 were the numbers, and the winner around about $2.60 on the tote. Now here's the part you're talking about. John Cross comes out of the 1-1. Gavin in front on Iona Wiz. He has a look here, and he goes with him for... No, in fact, he doesn't really go with him, does he? Gavin doesn't really...
Well, the point I'm trying to make here is he wasn't going to beat him once you let him go.
Yeah, well, you're right. I mean, that's exactly the way it's turned out. So,
draw the whip and look angry. That's what you're doing.
I know that's what John Cross was doing.
I know. Leave your personal life out of this.
But is it fair to say, if Gavin had held him out on John Cross'
they mightn't have finished,
record as a driver, he's a very aggressive person.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So, but look, Gavin's philosophy is always that you need to have a horse for tomorrow, don't you? So.
Stop it, John Sue.
No good of the blokes that backed it today, though.
It'll end in tears. $2.60 for Radical Charm. Waiting for the place totes. Quinella $22.80, Exacta $33.50, running double $18, and there are the place totes. $2.60, $1.80, $2.90 and $1.20. Waiting for the trifecta.
Eric Booth ran a nice race.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's it. Thanks, mate.
Coming from... What do you mean? Why do you own it?
Well, no, because during the run you...
Won't finish.
I wasn't going to tip you in, because you got a habit of doing that to me.
Listen, you blokes, you've got John Bell to cope with if you don't shut up. There's the trifecta, $81.90. Belly, I'm trying my best.
Not good enough. Nice of you blokes to sit there in the nice warm studio talking between yourselves. Well, we're out here freezing.
How are your feet going, Johnny?
I've got the boots on today, so I'm sweet. Not a good look, but it's a bit warmer. Now, I've got Jeff Daffy with me here, who trains the favourite Freights Horizon. Jeff, track and distance, weather, everything suits this horse today.
Well, I hope the track does, John.
Yeah.
If it's a bit skatey at all, he doesn't seem to lose his confidence. But if he can just, if it's real heavy and he digs into it, yeah, he seems to handle it all right, But he's very well the horse, and we picked the race out for him, and I just hope that the track, being like it is, doesn't bring us unstuck.
Yeah. Well, he does have an affinity with this track.
He's done well here before. Yeah, he does go very well here.
And you had Unfettered in the cup. He gave a bit of a sight.
Yeah, Unfettered went very well. I was very pleased. He's not a seasoned horse yet. I think next year he would probably be a sort of a race he could win.
This is his first staying campaign, isn't it?
That's right. It's just the last 2 or 3 runs, but he wasn't well early in his campaign. But he's come back, strong, and he's pleased me in the last month. And I was pleased with his run today.
Okay, Jeff, I'll let you go and get some cover.
Thanks, John.
Jeff Daffy there, the trainer of Freights Horizon. It has really turned nasty here, and if I disappear, that's because I'm holding onto this umbrella that's about to go. Now, we'll have a look at the betting here. Freights Horizon has been very easy. Opened up around 250. It's drifted out a full point, so no value on the tote at this stage. Number 3, Freeman, opened up the second pick at $3.50. Drifted out to $5.50. That's been knocked off now by a half point. Still no great value on the tote, however. Number 7, Nalem, was also a drifter early, but has come in for some support here. It's into the each-way quote now after a point longer was offered. Suit the Office has trimmed up a little bit with the bookmakers also. It's firmed in 1 point and the tote's right, the same price as what the bookies are offering. Number 9, Formal Offer, is out to 3 times the each way quote after opening up at double figure odds. Number 11, Ferdinand's been steady throughout. You're getting about 10 points of value on the tote at this stage. Number 12, Knightly Sword, has been steady throughout at the double figure quote. Number 13, Norfolk Island, came in for some support early, opened up $16. Firmed in 3 points, has just drifted out 2, so a little bit of support round and you're getting 10 points of value on the tote, and the horse does love the wet tracks. Number 17, Superior Sam, is out to around the 40 to 1 mark. He did win here one day at 100 to 1, but I doubt he can repeat that today. Number 18, Fate Voyageur, is been a drifter. You're still getting 25 points of value on the tote. And number 19, Kilfarrer Road, has been a 2-point drifter, but you're getting about 5 points of value on the tote. The horse does handle conditions. I thought Fate's Horizon was certainly the horse to beat on his good record at this track and in these conditions. And Freeman also, Nalem is the likelihood. There is a bit of speed in this race, and I really think it should set it up for Fate's Horizon, who is an easing favourite.
Good on you, mate. John Bell there, getting wet at Warrnambool. The SPs at Moonee Valley, as we take a look at the dividends there at Warrnambool as they move into the gates, only about a minute or so away from the start. Fate's Horizon still the favourite. Here at the Valley, Radical Charm started 7 to 4, Eric Booth 10 to 1, Iona Wiz 6 to 4 favourite. 7 to 4, 10 to 1, 6 to 4 favourite. And there you have the SPs for the numbers 4, 8 and 1, all clear. Race 6 at Moonee Valley. Next event here, race 7 is at 20 past 4, no scratchings in a field of 11. All right, getting set quickly with just the 2 races to go at Warrnambool on what has turned into a pretty bleak afternoon weather-wise. Fate's Horizon the 1, Freeman the 2nd pick, and Nalem number 7 is also in contention as far as tote punters are concerned. And as far as the bookies are concerned, well, Fate's Horizon's been very easy. It's doubled its quote at the start of betting.
$2.50 at the $4 on track.
Yeah. Freeman has also been easy. Nalem was easy, but has got back to its original quote, and there's been a bit of money at odds for Suit the Office. And
right down the bottom is reasonably solid, number 19, Kilfarrer Road. Yeah. Good odds on the tote, Pete, at $14.
Probably Nalem's the best backed here late in the betting, number 7. Just about right. Race number 8, the Yalumba Handicap, 1,400 metres. Back to Brian at Warrnambool.
Last for the day. Racing. Came out in a good line too. Freeman bounced very quickly out towards the centre, had its head in front early. Formal Offer going with it on the outside and further back on the fence now. Suit the Office driving up. Fate Voyageur is going with it and wider out as Knightly Sword at the 1,200 metre mark, and Suit the Office went through. Led now from Formal Offer, and Knightly Sword's about 8 away from the fence on the outside, going forward now 2nd. Formal Offer back 3rd on the outside there of Fate Voyageur 4th, 2.5 Freeman 5th, 1 further back then Nalem. On the inside Ferdinand 1.5, then Fate's Horizon. Further back in the race the outside Superior Sam, followed by Norfolk Island, and last of all is Kilfarrer Road. At the 800 metre mark, hard on the inside, Suit the Office about 3 lengths in front. This one Knightly Sword's covering a lot of ground off the track on the outside of Formal Offer. A length then Freeman pushing up with Ferdinand. Further back in the race Nalem. Dropping out of it then Fate Voyageur going around at Fate's Horizon. 2 further back in the race Kilfarrer Road. They're followed by Superior Sam, and 4 last of all Norfolk Island. The leader Suit the Office at the 450 metre mark, led by 2 lengths Freeman and Ferdinand getting up on the inside. Further back Knightly Sword right off the track, still scouting wide, followed by Nalem hard at it, and so too on the outside of it Formal Offer. Suit the Office hard against the fence, 2 in front. Ferdinand is after it in the middle, running on pretty well now. Then Freeman, they're well clear of the others, heading down the middle. Kilfarrer Road and Knightly Sword coming down the outside. Ferdinand reached the front at the 100 metre mark, drew 2 in front of Suit the Office. Down the extreme outside rail Knightly Sword. Ferdinand over on the inside from Knightly Sword out wide. Ferdinand just in front of Knightly Sword, or close. Ferdinand the inside of Knightly Sword, width of the track apart. 3rd home back in the centre is Kilfarrer Road. They're followed by Suit the Office. Behind them Freeman, a gap in the race. Further back then Nalem. Fate's Horizon further back in the event then Norfolk Island. Just coming in then Formal Offer, followed by Superior Sam. And last of all is Fate Voyageur.
Well, this is a lot closer than you think it is. This horse on the outside is very, very close here. Knightly Sword on the outside and Ferdinand. And it's probably about 3 lengths behind there, I would say. But really, in the last little bit, this horse has lengthened. It was a bold ride, and this has got up. Knightly Sword, number 12, has got up on the outside to win.
Have a look at this, the angle that we get to judge it on here. They hit the line.
It's won by, well, there's the decision. It's won by a half head. And, well, we thought it was pretty tight in here.
Well, you didn't think it was tight. You said it's got up. That's an amazing call on your behalf. Yeah, all I can say is, well, hang on. If you can circle, you can see the post there on the outside post. It's a little white post just in front of the bloke with a red scarf on, is it? I don't know if they can circle that white post on the outside fence there. That's it. You can see there's two posts next to each other. The thicker one, I think, will be the finishing post on the outside. So you've got to draw a line from that white post across to the inside rail, and that's what you end up with.
That's what you get. So, yeah, that's amazing. And really
What a ride!
Well, it was a very game ride, wasn't it? Because coming out of the gates...
We can say it after the race, but I was giggling halfway through. I thought,
Marie Payne decided just to go in a straight line once they came out of the gates. And then she came in a little bit as they came around the bend and then went straight back to the outside. And I did say to you at the top of the straight, when she came out, probably about 12 horses, I said, well, there's no good being there. You have to be hard up against the outside rail. That's what we saw with Oregon Star in the earlier race, and it's just got beaten in the Cup. But that has been a super ride.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Look, it was clear that it was up there in the early stages, but obviously, I mean, it must have covered an extra 10 lengths around the home turn by racing out as wide as it did. And it was noticeable that it was under a bit of pressure going around the home turn and lost ground on the leaders.
19's got third, by the way, Kilferra Road. Yeah, now you just saw that horse on the outside, and as we said, Marie Payne has just come in a straight line from the 1400 metre barrier there, so she wasn't losing any ground at all. And not that you see it, we'll go to the side on here, and you'll see that the horse Nightly Sword does come back and sort of rolls back closer to the rail, but even there...
It's still about 8 or 10 horses off the fence you'll find there.
Yeah.
And yet it looks to be... See how it's under pressure there in the yellow colours? It's gone from about second back to fifth or sixth, and Marie's asking the horse to run along there. I think she's just a little concerned the leaders were getting away on her. But then, once they... well, they've basically negotiated the corner here, so she's not going to lose any ground once they straighten up because there's no more bend to get around. But
and there's no point being there. This is where she does the right thing and comes to the outside.
It was there. You're right in saying that. She's probably still 3 or 4 lengths behind them, but she finds the good ground as she moves further and further out, basically with every stride to end up right up against the outside fence. And here you could see it was going to make it pretty interesting, Nightly Sword. It flashes at the other horse on the line, and on the angle that we have to present to you here, you'd have to say the inside one, but that's it.
Well,
thanks, boys. You can see one nose on the line and one probably just a little bit back, so improvisation, hey?
When they went past the line, we sort of looked around here in the studio, and I said, Hutchie, I thought the outside had got up, and I think he thought he was about to look at me and say, well, you're on some sort of substances that you shouldn't be on. But anyway, it's got there. Nightly Sword, $14 and $3.40. Ferdinand, $5.40. Kilferra Road, $3.50. Quinella paid $190.80. The Exacta, $384.90. Trifecta, $3,498.80. The Daily Double today, on 11 As Again and 12 Nightly Sword, paid $175.80. The Race to Race Double on New C4 and 12 Nightly Sword paid $36.60, and the Quaddie on 7, 11, 4 and 12, 7, 11, 4 and 12 has returned $2,169.10. And the one that Belly was wrapping before the race, Fates Horizon, never really looked a chance in the race, but conditions...
Yeah, sorry.
Very difficult.
Yeah, look, no question about that. More interested in the one he's tipping in the next.
Yeah.
He said one guy told him it was a tip of the century or the good thing of the century. It's drawn,
Company.
Yeah, number 3. It's drawn second from the outside with the scratchings. The only horse to start outside of it will be Makwadama, number 9. So Regal Company will be second from the outside, and I expect to see a lot of the field doing what we saw with that previous runner. We've seen it over Warrnambool Cup carnivals in the past. We've seen it at Geelong Cup carnivals before they redid the track. And the jockeys are going to be saying, we're missing out here, we've got to get to the outside. And one of the first there should be Regal Company.
I was just thinking, you know, with Marie Payne there, as we look at the facts and figures surrounding Regal Company in this last event at Warrnambool, we said it was a great ride, and it was. But remember that a fella called R.S. Dye did that in the Caulfield Cup one day, and he got beaten by the amount that Marie Payne has just been successful in the race, and everyone thought he was a dill.
Yeah, that's
so it's a
true.
fine line, isn't there?
Yeah, there is a fine line. I remember the time, who was it who rode a horse called Shalloware for George Hanlon in the straight race? He crossed from about the... No, it was at Caulfield.
Yeah.
Caulfield over 1,200 metres. He crossed right to the outside of the fence before the home turn, and one of the great pictures, I think, was Brian Meldrum from the Herald Sun, then the Sun, out there with a metre counter, measuring how many extra metres the horse had covered in doing it.
Now, the winner, Knightly Sword, started 11-1, second Ferdinand at 16-1, and third Kilferra Road at 10-1, and Fate's Horizon was the favourite, unplaced at 3-1.
The answer to Adam's question is Michael Barlow.
The answer...
Michael Barlow, okay.
They ring quickly. Is that the big fella?
Yes.
I got the horse
Hello,
and trainer
Brendan.
right anyway, Brent, if you're watching.
11-1, 16-1, 10-1, Kilferra Road, the third place getter there. Fate's Horizon, the unplaced favourite, at 3-1. And one thing we can tell you for certain after race 8, and that is that Brendan Cormack has John Carney's mobile number in his speed dial, because he couldn't possibly ring that quickly anyway. We'll be taking you back to John Bell shortly at Warrnambool to wrap up the 8th race and take a look forward to the 9th. We can do that now because let's have a look at the tote figures. We did show you that Regal Company has come up the favourite. Scratchings are 2, 7, 11, 13 and 16, so we've got 5 out, a field of 11 to run. Regal Company the favourite. Others in contention, well, there's a few of them. Ilmoje, lot of fun. George on Broadway is also in the betting. Nomad Chief is under double figure odds, so too is Flying Voodoo, and they are the main ones. I'll resist any urge to make any puns about Larwood, and thank goodness that Billy did the same about the winner of the previous race at Warrnambool. Now, the 7th here at Moonee Valley, and we've got a field of 11. We might check out the tote figures and see what they're doing there. No scratchings, and Special FX is the favourite.
Yeah, this is the what we term the fast class race of the day. These are the Saturday night quality horses that we see go around at these day meetings on occasions. Bullingar Salute, just struggling to get back to his best form. Don't really like him. Room to Move, good beginner. Got a terrific hope from gate 4. Watch this fella, just waiting for him to find form again. Darbarota's in there with a hope, working up to form. I think it's had about 3 or 4 runs back from a spell now. Should be ready to fire. Captain Nightmare's better run last start, but it will need some luck from the wide draw. The one they like on the tote is number 9, Special Effects, $2.80 at the moment. Look, I suppose that's about right. This horse really couldn't go for about the first year of his career. Didn't look to have much of a future at all. And then he just turned the corner. Tony Dillon has really got the best out of him, and you can forget all about his last start run. That was just a crazy race here where Marbo and Quizzical ran that brilliant times early, then they slowed up, and it was like a wait for age stop-start race, and he just couldn't get into that one after doing a lot of work. So he looks well suited here. Special Effects would be the top pick to beat number 4, Room to Move. Quite a few chances outside of that, including Aerosmith, and What a Crank, who is a former Tassie pacer, has had 2 starts in Victoria for Brian Gath for a win, and a first up effort went down the track here at Moonee Valley, but will be fitter for that run.